South Carolina is filled with history, but thanks to a dedicated group of horse lovers, there's some new chapters being written. We're visiting David Grant at his farm near Darlington, where he has a herd of Carolina Marsh Tackies. David, these are some pretty special horses. I'm sitting on one, but what besides that, what makes them so special?
Well, quite a list. Let's kind of shorten it up a little bit. This is our state heritage horse, the Marsh Tacky. And the Spaniards first brought them up when they explored this great country, and naturally the Spaniards brought Spanish horses.
And you said these horses have been good for conditions like they experienced then, because when these are good grazers, what are some of the things that make them good for riding in the woods and those sorts of activities?
Well, they're easy keepers. Naturally, when the Spaniards come over here, they didn't know how long it was going to take to get here. So just the fact that they survived kind of like a maiden voyage, it's a phenomenal. And then in the beginning, they didn't have at the local feed store feed and hay, so they had to forage and stuff like that. So they evolved into survivors, easy keepers, that type stuff. Most of your Marsh Tackies proportionately have larger feet, and that really makes them adapt in marshy situations and stuff. And in the beginning, the word tacky, people say, where's the word tacky come from? Well, it's a kind of a word that was the most common horse around, the tacky horse.
And they were used, you said, by people who could use them for multiple purposes. You could use them to plow, you could use them in the field, you could use them to take your wife to town.
That's correct. In the beginning.
And to hunt.
Yeah, that's the only horse they had. So he had to be multi-talented. And basically, they would use them to plow, go to church on Sunday, to school. Most of them were, in the beginning, they didn't have fences to keep livestock in. They had fences to keep the livestock out of the gardens and fields and stuff.
These horses are not as large as some of the thoroughbreds we're accustomed to seeing, and you said they've got some other attributes that make them wonderful for running through the woods.
Well, Marsh Tackies are on average about 14 hands, okay? And usually they have deep, narrow chest, as you see with DP. They have sloping croups and low tail sets, which makes them maneuver real easy and stuff. And like I say, and the biggest attribute, they just like you say, is real easy keeping horses. They stay fat and just a little bit of feed.
And for a long time, these horses weren't known to be as special. We just thought they were some horses, but there've been some particular work, scientific work done on them.
That's correct. I was fortunate to get involved with these horses about 7 years ago. And we had a meeting here, an open house here, for some Marsh Tacky enthusiasts to see what kind of horse we did have. So we did some research, did some DNA tests that proved that they had Spanish markers. So, and I was still, Amanda, a little bit of a doubting Thomas. So there was a lot of research done by a lot of good folks, and the Tackies were mentioned throughout history. And some of the research I've done on Francis Marion, you could hear the name Tacky mentioned. Matter of fact, Tarleton, when he invaded Savannah, was mounted on tacky horses because his horses perished at sea due to a storm. And that was one of my favorite quotes, is that Tarleton said he got defeated because he was mounted on common tacky horses.
You've said that the Gullah community on the Sea Islands really deserves a lot of credit for the preservation of this breed.
Oh yeah, and I think the Gullah, geographically, the way the islands and stuff in South Carolina, I think had a good impact on how these horses stayed relatively pure.
David, what are your hopes for the future for this herd?
Very bright. We started with roughly 150 horses in the beginning 7 or 8 years ago. I think at the last census, 275, and everybody's breeding for quality, not quantity. They're in the hands of people that love them, mostly folks that's got them for pets and that type of stuff, even though we see them cross over into other disciplines now.
And if people, and I know that there are going to be so many people excited about this horse that's nice enough to let somebody like me sit on it, how can they find out more about them?
Well, we got two websites, CarolinaMarshTacky.com and MarshTacky.org. The first one's my personal website, and the second one is our association's website.
Now, I understand you're somewhat of a TV star besides being on the show tonight. Tell me about that.
I say I'm a cowboy wannabe, and I'm a TV star wannabe. We do, man, it's been very humbling. We've been 7 months in production. HorsetailsTV.com. It's about all disciplines and breeds of horses, mostly in the Carolinas. Yes, ma'am.
Well, this has been a wonderful experience for me, and I'm going to let you lead the way as we go back to the barn.
We'll be like Dale and Roy. Happy trails.
Happy trails.